Funny thing is, I don't even like Dr. Pepper that much, but here we are drinking zero sugar Dr. Pepper cherry. Maddie's here, by the way. You can't see her. Just know that she's there. She's the one that is stealing my Dr. Pepper right now. Yeah, it's pretty good. Guys. I'm excited for this video. We're back from the gym now. This video is dedicated to justifying my big decision I've made and explaining the why. Because there's been so much going on kind of up in the air the past, 4 months. So much has happened and I've had to make a lot of decisions. Flashback to 5-6 months ago. We had the Summer Shredding Classic 2020. It was an amazing experience. And I have a whole video actually going over my thoughts on that experience and also about my placing and how I did. I learned a lot. I learned, number one, I really like bodybuilding a lot more than I thought I was going to. And honestly, at the time during my prep, I expected to really only compete in men's physique and in bodybuilding only once. I was kind of thinking in my head like I was gonna do it and then be done with it and get it out of my system and then move on to other fitness goals, because if you know me, I am extremely passionate about fitness as a whole, not just one part of fitness, but literally all of it. I have aspirations to kind of try other things within fitness. That's why I wanted to get into running and run a half marathon this year, also a full marathon this year, which I'm gonna talk about in a second, and eventually do triathlons and just like, I just wanna be the guy that has done everything. And my passion in fitness goes along with just the idea of always pushing myself and really just being uncommon, being that guy that has done everything, that is known for always being able to push himself harder than everyone else, and that's what I'm addicted to. And so going into the sport of bodybuilding, I thought, okay, I'm gonna do it to say I did it, I wanna do well, and then I'm out. Well, seconds after stepping off the stage, I realized, wow, I love this and I can't wait to do it again. But I wanted to be smart, because that's what we're taught to do all the time. We're taught do things smart, and in my head I knew that I needed a proper off season in order to make the changes that I really needed to make in order to do way better in the future, essentially. And with that comes, an off season, taking time off. So I was going to use the year 2021 to truly take a proper off season, try out other goals, half marathon, full marathon, and eventually come back to bodybuilding and hopefully make a big change. And along that journey, it only took about a couple months for me to realize that I really wanted to compete again and that I hadn't fully gotten it out of my system. And the reason why I hadn't fully gotten it out of my system in 2020 is simply because I did not accomplish the goals that I had actually set out to accomplish. The goal wasn't simply just to step on stage, it was to step on stage and do well. I had actually very specific goals. My first show was supposed to be in May of 2020. It was an NPC national qualifier, and I had the goal to become a nationally qualified men's physique athlete at that show. How did it go? The show was canceled due to COVID, and I was unable to actually even attempt. And then my goal was to win my class at the Summer Shredding Classic, and I didn't. I got about 4th place, and I literally mean no disrespect to the other competitors or the judges or anything like that. I'm absolutely not making excuses, but I definitely know that I could have done better with myself. I was self-coached, I made mistakes that literally keep me up at night, remembering why was I so stupid? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? All these things. And I'm frustrated because I feel like I could have done better. I'm not saying I would have won. I'm not saying I would have even placed higher. Maybe I wouldn't have. But the thing is I don't know. And I feel like these mistakes just are lingering, and I wish I wouldn't have made them. And I feel like at the end of the day, I did not present my best at that show. And because of that, it just kept coming back into my head to try again. So going into 2021, backtrack a little bit, my goal was to do a half marathon and a full marathon. I made videos about transitioning to a hybrid athlete. I was running 4 days a week for about 4 months, and life was great. All I have to say about that is my goal this year is to still run a half marathon and to still run a full marathon if I'm able to. But along the journey of preparing for those races, I started to realize that I love bodybuilding. And although I am going to accomplish these other goals, right now I wanted to train for bodybuilding. It was funny, and inside of my hybrid programs, I just slowly started coming back to more hypertrophy work, very organically, like I just really wanted to. And so week after week after week, I just started to do more hypertrophy. And then eventually I got to the point where I'm like, wow, I just want to do hypertrophy right now. Even though I was enjoying the running and everything like that, I just like, the thought of competing is what excited me the most, to wake up in the morning and to go after a goal. Now there are a few other contributing factors. For one, Maddie is competing this year at the Summer Training Classic. And so I was like, this is great. You know, I'm gonna coach her, I'm gonna help her. It's gonna be an awesome experience for her, go her. And I have a big team going. We have about like 10 other competitors in Team Tua that are competing at the Summer Training Classic, the summer show. And we have even people that are gonna do it later in the year for the fall show as well. And the whole time I just totally felt jealous. I'm like, I'm so jealous that they get to do that this year and I don't. And meanwhile, I'm gonna be at this show, watching it happen before my eyes, knowing that I wish I was up there and I'm not gonna be up there. And I kept asking myself, okay, why? Why am I not doing it? And it kept coming back to like, oh, well, I gotta be smart. You know, I have to have an off season. I gotta change, blah, 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 all these things. And the thing is that that's really true. That is the smart way to do things. Like if I was truly wanting to chase the most optimal way of going about my personal career in this sport, it would be to take an off year this year. It would be to not compete, to focus on growing, and then compete maybe in 2022. That is the smartest thing to do. But then I started realizing like doing the smartest thing isn't always what will make you happiest. Yes, it's the most optimal, but will I be the happiest doing that? And I started to realize that sometimes you need to just seize what is in front of you, seize the opportunities that are right directly in front of you. And I realized that the thing I really wanted to do was to try again, give it my all again, but this time fix the mistakes that I had made. And when I realized that, that's when I just finally made the decision. I kind of got Maddie's approval. I think she's...
I'm in.
She's in now. I fully expected to be different this time around, and I have gotten a coach. You can find him on Instagram, Cliff Wilson. He's an amazing coach. He's actually the reason why I chose Cliff. It wasn't just because I searched for some random coach. I personally have learned from Cliff and have become a better coach because of Cliff for years now. I've been following him for at least like 4 years now. I know that this year's gonna be different. Now regarding my goals, because I have some people out there that think I literally just quit running because I'm a wuss or whatever. And if there's not that many people out there that think that, I still want to defend my point because that's what I started to think about myself. I'm just kind of like that. Like I'm not saying it's a good thing or not, but I'm very like, I guess competitive against myself. And the last thing I wanted to do was like, be like, oh, I'm just quitting on my goal. But I realized I'm not quitting on my goal. I'm just kind of postponing it for a goal that I truly care more about. And not only that, but honestly, it's a harder goal too. Like competing in bodybuilding, competing in men's physique is a lot harder than running a half marathon. And we'll get to that later on this year. But I essentially actually tried to cram in a half marathon before I started my prep. And because I didn't have that much time, I ended up just trying to progress a little too quickly. I was at peak bulk at this point, so I was just gaining a lot of weight and it was getting harder to progress in running because I was like, all of a sudden 4 miles went from being easy to like being kind of hard because my knees and my ankles and my hips hurt because I had gained so much weight. And I was trying to progress even further and faster than that because I had to run a half marathon before I started my prep. And it was a really hard decision to make because I hate feeling like a wuss, honestly, but I realized like it's not going good. And my goal wasn't to force myself to run 13.1 miles and survive and, you know, hurt myself. Like the goal was to run a half marathon and thrive in it. So rather than just like suck it up one day and go and do it, I just realized like it's not worth it. I can come back to it after my show. I'm gonna be a lot lighter and that would be a great time to then work on the half marathon. So it was very hard, but I decided to stop essentially and then just focus on this, my bigger decision, my bigger goal. So yeah, I feel like I have to do this, not because of anyone else, but 100% because of myself. I need to redeem myself. Funny thing about this sport is it's up to the judges. The judges I could place worse than last year. That's the funny thing about this sport, but I would regret not trying. And so that's why I feel like I have to do this for me. I have to try again. And then I will hopefully take a year off in 2022 and then maybe come back to it in 2023, just completely changed and have that proper off season. But yes, guys, so I guess like the life lesson that I've learned from this is that sometimes you just need to seize the opportunity. You don't always have to do things optimal, because yes, it's smart, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's better for your life. You know, we should always chase just what's going to make us happiest. And this is how I truly want to spend, you know, the first 5 months or 6 months of 2021. I couldn't imagine a better way to spend it, as crazy as that sounds. As you know from my last video, hopefully, the TUA cast, the Take Uncommon Action podcast, is a thing now. So hopefully in the next week or two, that's gonna be like live and running everywhere, and you can see really like the behind the scenes of everything that's going on. But thank you guys for tuning in this video. We have got so much coming. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, follow the journey there. And you can follow Maddie's page too, because this is her first show, but she's gonna kill it as well. Mark our words. But anyway, guys, we will see you in the next video. Peace out.